it's not like they are not doing their work. Perhaps maybe they're just doing the bare minimum.
Okay.
Bare minimum. They're just checking off the boxes. And we have to ask ourselves why.
Today's question was sent in by our listener Hazel. Hazel says, I work in an organization where the mature workers are just waiting for retirement. Hence, they're not pulling their weight. As a result, the bulk of the extra work will fall on the younger workers like myself. When I brought this up to management, the consensus seems to be they're leaving anyway, so just tahan or just hang in there. But some of them have, up to a year to go, and I don't see how this is fair. What should I do? Firstly, before we get into it, I just want to put it out there. I think we need to check that there is no discrimination or potential discrimination against older workers, right? It's a topic we have spoken at length on this podcast. So, if older workers are actually pulling their weight, please don't discriminate them. It's not an age thing, right? But I think after we've checked ourselves and it's true that these are workers who are not doing their job and management is not taking them to task, then I think, Hazel, I personally think that you don't have a mature worker problem. I think you have a management problem. Okay, I would say, go to that manager who told you that statement and challenge that. Would you say that's something that you would do?
If hopefully your job is not affected after
I'm
you tell
so
your management.
idealistic.
Yeah, but what you said is true. This is not really about discrimination, but I think this is about mindsets. Mindsets of a more mature worker, and I would say that it's not like they are not doing their work. Perhaps maybe they're just doing the bare minimum.
Okay.
Bare minimum. They're just checking off the boxes, and we have to ask ourselves why.
Okay.
How come they will have such behaviors and mindsets, right, of a mature worker? So if we think about life stages and they are older workers, they are probably they've worked so many years already, right? And then they're reaching their retirement and they're probably not, it's like they don't have any sense of hope or goals for their work in the future.
Oh, okay. So what is the next chapter? They don't have
Yes,
that.
correct. So like if I use an example, if you're going to sell your house already, right, then would you be cleaning your house every single day,
yeah.
very, very tediously?
Yeah. Fix that broken door. You
Yep.
wouldn't, right?
On the last day, you wouldn't, but you would kind of like let things go a little bit. So I think this is kind of the mindset that many mature workers do find themselves in, right? It's not to say whether it's a good or bad mindset. It's just the way it is, right? It's the life stage. I mean, they work so hard. They work for so many years. They've done all they needed to do to support their families, to support their employers. So maybe this is their time to kind of like,
take their foot off the pedal.
But having said that, right, that this is an issue for Singapore, right? For many companies that I know, at least, because we have an aging population. Most of our workforce in companies, if it's a Singapore base, it's getting older. So what would happen in companies if all employees start to be like that?
Yeah. But I don't know whether is it like a mature worker problem. I wonder if it's a company culture thing. Meaning to say, when I was working in that company, when I was that young person working in a company, then I'm looking at the older workers and I think, oh, actually, when I reach that stage, I can relax.
Yes.
So by the time I get to the stage, I will go, I deserve to relax.
Yes.
And I would say that because I remember my dad, up to the last month of his, in his job, his mindset was always, I need to leave behind good working processes for the next person who's coming, my successor. So he never took that foot off the pedal. For him, it was like a legacy thing.
Yes.
And he was never like relaxing, And I think that's also because he never saw anyone before him relaxing.
Yeah. So absolutely right. When we talk about these mindsets, it's there, but the mature worker, they may not react or they may not act on it in that way. So you brought up a very important point about management, right? So it is about management, because if today a company would just allow the bulk of their staff who are maturing to be like this, right, then the company is going to suffer. So it's really for the management. My point here is really for the management to do something about it, to help all these mature workers not let themselves stagnate, right? Not let
Find
themselves
meaning in even the last year of their employment.
Yes, exactly. Find a way to engage the mature workers to really give a little bit more, but maybe give differently, not work in the same way as before. Sometimes, like you said, right, the management also thinks that because you are going to give up already, so I also give up on you. But I feel that this is not healthy because, like you said, right, it perpetuates among the younger workers the behavior expectations, and also the company suffers.
Yes.
So it's really right now I feel that this is a growing problem, and I think many companies, HR people, they must start to think about this. How do we get out more of our mature workers so that they can continue to contribute meaningfully in a way that helps them as well as help the company? Yeah.
So if you are the listener who wrote in, Hazel, what can you do? I mean, you say don't go and talk to the management like how I suggested because she might lose her job.
Can
Fine.
if Hazel is really confident and
And she has a good relationship
yeah,
with the
good.
manager,
Why
right?
not? Why not?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
But I feel that for Hazel and that mature worker, the relationship, I think it's important to start to engage and not be discouraged by their lack of doing. But perhaps I would say start to evoke some curiosity and to investigate and probe a little bit about this mature workers' achievements, their experiences. So what?
And their fears.
Yeah, and their
They
fears.
could also
Yes.
reveal some fears
Correct.
about, like nobody wants me anymore.
Yes,
I
yes,
feel so redundant
exactly.
already.
Yes. So having more conversations about life, about work, but not so much of what we need to do tomorrow, but more of like, you work so long in the company or in your time with the company, right? What has been happening, in your career? Did you always know what you wanted to do? Like, was this your first choice of a job? Over this time, how have you been working? Have you just been checking off the boxes, or did you ever were you ever passionate about the work in this company before? Right? So asking questions like this is seen as more of a personal conversation. But what we're really trying to do is to let these personal conversations start to stir and evoke certain senses within an older and more mature worker. If today you start to ask about the achievements of somebody in the past, they are more likely to see themselves in a positive light as well.
Yes, true.
Right? Because maybe they've been stuck in the thinking that I only got X number of months left, I'm not going to do anything. But now you start to help them to remember that they used to be passionate about something. They used to be excellent at doing something. And some younger worker is affirming them for it. So you can imagine the attitude towards work, towards the younger worker could change.
Yeah.
Yeah. They may not help everybody in the work, but they might help Hazel.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And also having that conversation will also allow Hazel to be in a better position to say, let's say you are the mature worker and we have built that relationship. And then as Hazel can say, Gerald, come on, you're leaving me high and dry. I
Yeah.
really need you to, like do your part of the job. Otherwise I can't. And it's only in that sort of live conversations that we've had where you will now understand me. I've heard you that now I have the license to be firm with my boundaries.
Yes, yes.
Rather than try to be firm right now and just to say, why aren't you doing this? Do this. You are making me suffer. Then the other person will feel, who are you? This little thing,
Yeah.
20 years younger than me talking to me like that.
Yeah. So I think it's to really help them to remember because if you put yourself in their shoes, right, if you have only just a year left of your career, our mindsets could actually be very similar. I think it would be helpful if someone around us could help us to remember and recall and also maybe start to project some of these thoughts into the future. Like, have you thought about what you want to do in future? You got so much good experiences in this area. It will be waste if this doesn't continue. So then this starts to set certain thinking in that person like, maybe it's not the end.
And they will see value
Yes.
in their experience.
Yes.
Well, Hazel, I hope what we said here will inspire you to have good, meaningful conversations with your colleagues who are mature workers or even your managers who may kind of see it as, it's okay, everybody just relax, right? But if, like Hazel, you have a work-related question, do write into us. We are at cnapodcasts@mediacorp.com.sg. This podcast is also on Spotify, Me Listen, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, where a video version of this is at.
I'm Gerald.
And I'm Tiffany. Have a great work week ahead and be kind but firm with your boundaries.